Flippin' Great Podcast, Episode 3, the FGC.
Hello, everybody. This is Adam. Hi, this is Adam. This is how this works. You guys also have to.
I was waiting for Rob. I did not
pointing.
want to cut him off.
Yeah, you were pointing at Rob, so I was just...
All right, well, this is Drew Roberts of the Tallahassee Fighting Game Community.
There we go.
And this is Mike J. of the Fighting Game Community as well.
His legal name is Michael Mike J. It's both of them.
And I'm Steven Donaldson from Flippin Great Pinball.
You sound
Actually, Steve's not with us today. This is Rob.
You sound like the gas cloud on season 8 of Futurama. So this is episode 3?
Three? Yeah, the big 3.
Wow.
Wow.
Keep thinking of the Owen Wilson turtle video. And
Our quarterly podcast series.
quarterly, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I got the other one out before Christmas, just before Christmas.
It's true.
When was episode 1 out?
I
November?
think we recorded it in early November and it came out in
Late
early
November?
December.
All right, so you're
Late
about
November,
on a
early-
monthly schedule. That's not
Yeah.
bad. That's
Yeah,
not
we
bad.
joke about it, but anyway, we are a podcast show, so it's mandatory that we make jokes about our poor attendance.
Oh yeah,
And
oh yeah. It's not going to get any better.
I'm pretty sure self-deprecating humor is a requirement for podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
checkbox number 1.
Self-awareness.
Yeah. So basically, what we were going to talk about today is last episode we were talking about what we expected of the lovely 24 pinball machine, and it actually became a reality, and we have that in the store now. So as you heard Rob just say, the call-outs are some of the best.
Jack.
I'm doing air quotes. You guys can't see them, but some of the best I've ever heard in my life. I genuinely think she forgot that she had to do those call-outs, and they just called her on her phone, and she just woke up.
I really want to tweet Marianne and just get that story
Dude, it's
and see.
Jack. Oh god, it's so bad. It's so lazy.
Was it that Stern just was like, we're going to pay you $20 to do this? Was it a contract thing? Because if it was a contract thing, it was written in, you had no choice. I totally understand.
What I think
that.
happened is they went to a convention that she was at, and you know how you can pay $25 for a voicemail? That's what they did. They just handed her a
Can you say
napkin
jackpot 25 different ways in the laziest way possible.
and say plutonium once.
and when the phone rings, and even though it's your job in the CTU to answer the phone, you say, "Can someone get that?"
Yeah, it's bad, man. There's just, I get not everyone's a voice actor, but frick, man. To put something on it, it's just lazy.
I do like the wizard mode where you get far enough in the game and you finally get some actual Jack Bauer callouts.
Yeah,
I
yes.
didn't think they existed for a long time because I never progressed in the game long enough to hear them.
My favorite one is he's like, "Did Air Force One just get hit? Did Air Force One just get shot?" Or something like that. He screams it.
What the
and
fuck?
It just reminds me of Lord of the Rings when he's like, "You have my soul, and my wrath.
You have my axe.
Run!"
You have my Air Force One.
When he's fighting the Balrog. It's so funny. But other than that, I'll say it's not as bad as I remember it. It's not good. I'm not going that far. But it's not nearly as bad as I remember it being at the airport.
I think before when we were talking about it, we had a recollection of it being kind of you cut the playfield in two and it's two completely different games. And I think that holds up.
Yes.
I think everybody plays it. You get that main 24 scene ramp, which is the mouth of the delta of the Nile.
Yeah.
And you can backhand it, you can forehand it, you can do whatever.
Yeah, if you can't make that shot, you shouldn't play pinball ever.
Yeah, you should be able to step up to a 24 and immediately make 3 consecutive shots on that 24 ramp to finish the first scene.
Yeah.
And, light suitcase and all that stuff.
Anybody listening, though, I do have a question on that game. So, when you're going for the sniper shot, our machine, if you hit the sniper shot, it'll give it to you, or if you hit the ramp.
I know the answer to that.
Okay,
'cause
cool.
I figured it out last night while I was playing. So when sniper hurry up is awarded, it's the flat and dead end shot
Where the
next to
post
it.
pop stops it.
Yeah, and that starts the hurry up.
Okay.
You can cash in on a hurry up by hitting the ramp.
Okay.
In a similar way that you can cash in on terrorist safe house hurry up by hitting the drop targets. It'll give you the award and it'll increase the award.
But does it give you? Can you enable the multi-ball from the ramp, or do you have to hit the?
You have to hit the sniper dead end shot to enable the multi-ball. And the same thing with the safe house. You have to get it in the drop-in hole as opposed to hit the targets.
Yeah, that's like I always forget. I don't know why, but I always forget when those two little drop targets pop up, and it reminds me of like Medieval Madness, and I always forget it. I'm not comparing the two. Don't twist that, because I'm not.
Says 24 is as good as Medieval Madness, folks.
Nope. But I always just forget they're there, and I go to like hit the ramp, and I'm like, damn it! Because it just hits it and like comes right back down.
I will say, as far as I do like it more since we got it, and I like it more than I thought I would in the series of those late 2000 games that
was like Austin
Stern put out.
Powers and
It's CSI, which was another really low
I don't think I
run.
played that
And
one.
you had, I don't know. In my head, I kind of like cut everything off at Rolling Stones and below. There's like that section after Simpsons Pinball Party and Lord of the Rings,
yeah.
and it goes that continues to Rolling Stones and ends with Tron.
Yeah, Tron.
That section, 24 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not.
In that area.
It's definitely. I like it more than Rolling Stones. I do not like that.
I
game.
wasn't comparing to Rolling Stones.
Oh my god, that game! I played it at that bowling alley in Jacksonville, and like I'd never played it. I'm like, oh, this would be cool. It was not cool. It was awful.
I can't think of a worse Stern game than Rolling Stones. Except maybe Transformers.
So funny enough, guess what? 2 games were at that bowling alley next to each other. Transformers and Rolling Stones.
Transformers isn't bad. It's clunky.
No, it's very clunky. It's not as bad as Avengers.
It's not as bad as Avengers.
Yeah, Avengers is worse. I'd much rather play Transformers. At least Transformers, which is weird, but it gives you like 80s sound packs.
Yeah.
But it's like the Michael Bay Transformers. It's kind of a weird thing. But
yeah, but if anybody's listening, feel free. You can email us at Rob at Flippin Great or Adam at Flippin Great and tell us what your worst Stern title.
That's a good question.
is.
Avengers has got to be up there.
It's not as bad as Rolling Stones.
No. Rolling Stones is up there too. But out of those two, I don't know.
And then 24. Probably a lot of people haven't played it because it was really low run, and we're not. I don't think I tried to look up numbers on production. I couldn't find like.
I found a thread on Pinside that said 6 or 650.
I don't think that's legit.
That's the only thing I've seen though, so I'm not sure.
Because he had some other numbers in that.
Okay.
Because Stern didn't release their production numbers from that
They
time.
only made
to my
24
knowledge.
of them.
Or they made as many as they had 24 seasons, so there's 840 out there.
Gotcha.
But it is a pretty rare game. You don't see it very often. There's one other in Florida that I know of.
Both are for sale right now too. So
It's flooding the market.
we were streaming it the other day, and there was a guy from where's Spooky Pinball? Is that Wisconsin, or is that he was from Wisconsin, and they have one at a pizza parlor up there. So it's pretty cool to see that. He's like, yeah, my high score's like 14 million. I'm like, just hit the left ramp like 6 times, and you got that beat.
Get the scenes, cash in on a multi-ball, and you're good to go.
Yep. So overall, it's not, I still wouldn't say I love it, but it's much more fun now that you can actually like dive into the rules and stacking multi-balls. Steve and I were playing the other day, and we were both at like 10 million on ball 3, and then we had just stupid ball 3s.
Yeah, you guys had really good scores on that.
Yeah, it was funny because like he was player 1, and I'm like, man, like hurry up. Like I don't want to sit here and like wait. I just want to like go home. So then I started playing, and I'm just like, the next thing I know, it's like 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh frick, it's 40 million.
Oh, it's competitive.
40 million point ball.
Yeah, I got 43 million and something on it last night, and I didn't even make the high scoreboard anymore. So you guys suck.
Sorry.
But sorry.
I feel like we went at the start of this podcast to, man, 24 is a garbage pinball, to, you know what? It's kind of fun.
Well, we're basing, so, we talked last podcast about what our perception of it was. And when I say that the playfield cut in half thing, it's like all the shots on the left are like easy.
Okay.
And then the shots on the right
Are very tight.
really tight shots. You brick on them all the time. As a matter of fact, I don't think I can confidently hit that ramp unless I'm feeding it from the 24 ramp and have that in lane, and I just have the timing on that down that way.
It reminds me a lot of Pinball Party, where
100% of the time, half the time.
if you feed from the ramp, it's easier to make the ramp.
The timing, it makes it easier. But to try to judge that if you're just trapping and letting it drop on a flipper to hit that, I usually hit like the mole targets more than I do the actual up ramp.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a common thing, Drew. Is like we have a memory of a game, and it's very rarely spot on from what we remember it. It's usually worse than we remember it, or sometimes it's a little better. So I'd say 24 is a little better, but it's still not a.
I think it does fill that area, if you're looking for like a pretty good stern lineup, if you have a couple sterns already and you're looking for something that, like I said, I kind of put them into 3 eras since they are the only manufacturer. They have that early 2000 to mid 2000 that includes Lord of the Rings and Simpsons and all. And then they have kind of like the dark periods.
The dark ages.
So 24, I think, is actually probably one of their best games that they put out in that. But you still have some of the deficiencies in that, the toys are like 2 pieces of plexi that are stacked together.
The Green Army Man that they got 100 of for $1 at the dollar store.
It really looks like they went and they were like, you know what, a G.I. Joe would go perfectly here. But G.I. Joes are $4.99 a piece.
Right.
And I can go to Dollar General and get the rip-off G.I. Joe for $3.24, and we're gonna do that and buy how many ever they made of it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like I don't mind the safe house like that. Other than it being like a cartoon, like crack egg or whatever. The little line in it.
Yeah, sniper bothers me.
No, the sniper's bad.
Because it's not even like a sniping rifle. It's like he's got like a gun arm or something.
I think it's rubber banded to his arm. Like,
well, he's zip lined in too, or yeah. So it's easy to mod. All it takes is a pair of clippers, and
we might need to do that when we clean it up. Put snake eyes in there or something.
There you go. Well, what's Silence, Whisper? Who's the new sniper? Metal Gear.
Quiet.
Oh,
Quiet.
Question. Oh, Quiet.
Okay, I knew it was some adjective like that.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to take a little bit of a detour here and not talk completely about pinball. We're going to talk a little bit about some other stuff we do here at Flippin' Great, which is we do a fight night every other week with the Tallahassee Fighting Game people. And their mainstay right now, I'd say, is probably Guilty Gear and Street Fighter V. I don't know if Guilty Gear has a name after it because there's like a million of them.
Revelator.
Okay.
Exerd Revelator.
Oh, yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
Yes.
Exerd is an ugly word. Like, I know it's not really a word, but it's an ugly word.
Like,
I understand why they went for it, because it was Guilty Gear X, then Guilty Gear XX. They couldn't go to Guilty Gear XXX, because that just has all kinds of connotations behind it.
Well, that's probably already taken by some porn company.
Why couldn't they do like X3?
Okay, they could have probably done that.
Rule of thumb, you usually don't want to name something that rhymes with turd.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
I got it.
Like Street Fighter 3 turd.
Rob wins the argument. Moving on.
That was easy. So basically, every other Thursday, all the fighting game guys come up and they bring monitors and PlayStations, and I think it's just PlayStation. You guys don't use Xbox anymore, right?
Yeah.
So they bring PS4s up and they set up in the back, and we also have a dedicated PS4 arcade set up for Street Fighter V, and they'll change that out. But
you got to buy your own DLC.
yeah, it depends on who logs in. So
Luke usually handles that.
Yeah.
Luke is a Capcom shill and will buy all the DLC.
Shots fired. So next week Luke will be on and Drew won't be here, so he can get retaliation.
I appreciate him buying all that DLC.
Oh yeah.
I do too. Don't get me wrong.
One thing that we should say before we start talking about this is the way that our friendships work is the person who's not here, we go after that person. That's just how it is. So Luke's not here. So I will say that Luke makes Drew mad at Super Turbo. That's a fact. Don't look at me like that. That's true.
Did I say anything?
No, but I felt it.
Anything?
I felt it. And Mike J makes Luke mad at Street Fighter V.
I make everyone mad at Street Fighter V.
Which I don't get. Anyways, we'll get there. So we might take a couple shots at Luke. We mean no harm if he listens to this. It's just he's not here, so we'll let him get his revenge at some point, so he can talk about during the Super Turbo.
I'm just saying, he bought the $25 Capcom Pro Tour DLC.
Was that just a level?
It was a level and like a couple costumes.
3 costumes. There was
$25.
There's one for Cammy, one for Chun-Li, which automatically
meant that he
justifies it for Luke.
For Luke, yeah.
And
he likes Cammy? I thought he liked...
No, Chun-Li.
I'm sorry. I heard you wrong. I was like, wait a minute. I thought you Chun-Li.
Cammy is one of the DLCs.
Oh, okay.
It's Cammy, Chun-Li, and I think the Nikali Pro Tour costume was part of it.
And the stage was like the wrestling ring one?
Yeah, the stage of Destiny, Ring of Destiny.
The one where they play on every stage during finals because, oh my god, esports hype.
Yeah. Doesn't it also, depending on what tournament is live, doesn't it, change, what's on the marquees and stuff?
It does. But what pisses me off about that stage, and it really annoys me, is all they did was took assets from all the other, 5 stages they have in the game.
Okay.
And just put them into this Pro Tour stage and created a wrestling ring, and that's it. It
Well,
is
hold
the
on.
laziest stage design I've
Video
ever
game
seen.
programmers reuse things they already created to create something new.
Okay, sure, that's
Wow.
fine, but they
Wow.
charge $25 after the game comes out.
Wow.
So they're EA.
Well, to put things into perspective and not be the angry person that everyone else is about this stage. For one, proceeds went towards the Capcom Pro Tour
Right.
prize pool.
And Capcom's pockets a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
They've got to make the money back.
Sure.
At the worst, they got to make the money back. Of course, they're going to make a profit off of it. Like
Right.
they're a company; they are there to make money. We don't live in a place where when people make art, they make enough to live. We don't have a. I'm not going to go any further into that.
So now it's art, huh?
What?
So now it's art, huh?
I mean, I like to think that video games are a form of expression.
Some of
Yeah.
them.
Ideally, they would be.
What's up, man?
But on top of that, like, I kind of like the idea that all the little background characters from all the stages around the world is kind of thing where they all come together to watch this one fight. Like, that's kind of a nice idea. But if you want to be a negative Nancy about every video game ever, yeah, you can be like, oh, there's lazy developers reusing all their assets. But, I mean, people have been reusing assets for years. That's a thing. Mario, clouds and bushes. That's all I got to say.
Just for clarification, Mike J just called Drew a negative Nancy. Just wanted to clear that up for everybody.
First off, we need to clarify. First off,
This isn't first off. This is second off. But go ahead.
Whatever. The negative
This is
Nancy
the point
part,
where we light
I
the
don't-
fuse and walk away as they...
I don't care that they reused assets. That's whatever. I care that they charge $25 for reused assets.
Well, hang on a second.
Well, those costumes were reused assets, and there's for 3 characters.
Well, hang on.
If
The
you
way-
argue that costumes are like $4 each, you're paying, what, $13 for the stage?
That's still insane.
Yeah, that's still a lot.
But hang on. You didn't have to buy it, right?
I didn't.
Right. So that's
Oh
it.
no! Again, that
You don't have
is
to
what
buy it.
DLC is.
Yeah.
But I'm
It
not
doesn't
allowed
change the
to
game.
Critique it.
No, absolutely you can. I'm not mad at Capcom for doing that. I applaud it because they can do whatever they want to do. I'm not going
they
to buy
can.
it. So
I just find it boggles my mind at.
well, yeah, no, it's overpriced. I'll agree with that.
At a
Three-
better price point, I would probably have
Yeah, I
purchased
mean,
it.
I would have
Yeah.
bought it at a better price point.
Sure.
I mean, I fell victim to the
It'll-
Akuma costume cash grab merchandising.
Yeah, we need to talk about that real quick. What
Oh,
the
the angry
hell?
sunflower?
I don't get it. Like Akuma, what the hell, man?
I don't understand it either. I am falling for that, once again, negative Nancy trope of being like, oh, they just want to sell Akuma's nostalgia costume to everybody that wants to see Akuma be Akuma.
Yeah, but that design, man, what the heck?
Is this the one where he's got the wire scarf?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks
Well,
like
it's part of
he
the
looks
wire.
like Simba in the second half of Lion King.
It's an actual
Also,
meme.
what's up
Lion.
with his character design? He looks like he hurt his rotator cuff, and he can't ever lift this one arm higher
They're
than
all
his
so
shoulder.
jacked that like their lats just prevent.
They're all geef now.
Yeah,
They
it's
just move
insane.
around like
Oh,
this.
no, Akuma's got veins popping out all over his arms.
Yeah,
It's
he's
really
dehydrated. That doesn't sweatboxing it out.
They
for
never
his
do
fight.
drink water. You never see them drinking water when they fight. Oh man. So yeah, Street Fighter V. I know Drew's not a huge fan of it for reasons.
Because I destroy him in it.
No, that has nothing
It
to
has
do with
everything
it.
to do with it.
That has nothing
He
to
won't
do
admit
with
it,
it.
especially on a podcast where
Well, because then he
hundreds
wouldn't
of
like
people
4
can hear
either.
it.
No. That's nothing to do with it because I love Guilty Gear and Ron and James destroy me in that all day. So
Yeah,
your
but
logic is incredibly flawed.
No,
But-
because I'm not talking about Ron and James. I'm talking about me specifically.
No.
And we go about even. Like, I might have an edge sometimes. You'll have an edge sometimes. We make each other angry. Like, Luke, I can make Luke angry in Street Fighter 5. Luke makes you angry in ST. But we make each other angry at Guilty Gear.
But Guilty Gear doesn't, like, again,
So-
that's not why I dislike Street Fighter V because I lose in it. It has nothing to do with it.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
add him
lose.
as a
You
world
get
star,
destroyed.
Get
Like,
the sound of the salt shaker.
I was
shaking
playing a
next
character
time.
I haven't even practiced. I went on, like, what, a 10, 15 win streak last night?
I'll play that
Is
garbage.
that Urian?
Yeah, I don't play Urian much.
You're
I
talking
know
about Street
how it
Fighter V,
works,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would hope that you beat me considering I don't play that game.
We were just
Rebuttal!
playing it.
Rebuttal! Rebuttal!
We were just playing it last night.
Yeah, but I have not put that game in P mode. Not once.
That explains everything.
Rebuttal again!
Well, I'll say as a not good fight game person,
Or sentence maker.
You always put your knots at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been a fan of Street Fighter V since I first saw it. Like, I tried to play it, and it just seems kind of... I know everybody says it's the same speed, but it feels slower.
It does feel slower.
And the mechanics, they did so much different stuff to the mechanics from 4 that it just doesn't feel equal, smooth. I mean, I don't know the right word for it, but it just... Well, like, I would much rather play 4 still than...
Right. Well, they always do a massive overhaul to all the mechanics when they create a new Street Fighter entry. Like, 2 to 3 was a ridiculous amount of changes between parries, EX moves, multiple supers,
reaction,
universal overheads, and then from 3 to 4 we lost most of those. We kept EX moves, but that was really the only mechanic from 3 that we kept.
What about the grab? Didn't the grab stay the same too, right?
Oh yeah, the grab input.
Yeah.
Being changed to light punch and light kick were changed in 3, and that has just carried on throughout the series.
Thank God. I hate that in Street Fighter 2.
Oh, where basically forward fierce is an option selector.
Yeah, I hate it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's fine. Yeah, it's also annoying because you can't like properly tech a throw in ST. Like you just take less damage, but the damage is random, so it might feel like you didn't tech it. So you still take a ridiculous amount of damage.
That's still one of the goofiest things about it. Well, ST has a lot of goofy things about it. But
that's why it's fun.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I love ST. It's very fun.
I mean, I enjoy it until Luke puts me in like the Chun-Li flip infinite that you cannot get out of.
Yes, you can.
You can.
You DP.
But you can't.
You DP.
No, because sometimes that doesn't even work. I've gotten
did
hit
it
out of
like
my
5
DP.
times.
I can't
I've
DP
gotten-
on Geef. I don't know why. I always put the input in. It just never works.
Play better character. That's your fault.
Like T-Hawk, where you can do the grab
my
without
God.
actually getting a whiff animation.
T-Hawk in that game.
If you talk about T-Hawk, you're suddenly going to like summon Steve somehow. Like he's going to poof.
He's coming
like
out
the,
of Genie.
Like the Wyndham Fairy.
Is
He's
Steve
gonna, like,
Donaldson fucking Beetlejuice of fighting games?
Maybe. Don't say his name again.
Steven,
That was 2.
He's dropped out of the ceiling.
he was in the attic the whole
Hey
time.
guys! I forgot that's the voice we gave him.
Oh man, T-Hawk's the best.
The Steve
I can wreck everybody with him.
fantastic.
It's actually pronounced Thawk.
That sounds too similar to Thought, and we're
Thought?
reaching dangerous territory.
Thawk.
But going back to Street Fighter V, like I'm kind of in the middle. I don't play it nearly as much as I did 4, but I will say that 4 feels, I don't want to use the word better, it feels more comfortable because we played it for so freaking long. But like, I am very vanilla at Street Fighter. I only ever really play like Shotos. Like I played Rufus a little bit. He was super fun. But Ryu doesn't feel, he feels different, but he doesn't feel like oil and water different. You know what I mean? It's certain things are different. Like I don't know why they took away cross up Tatsu. I don't know why they took away things, but I don't know. Like I like that the parry's back, but I don't like that everybody has one because you guys shouldn't get my cool move, and I'm okay with that.
The only other person that does is Akuma. And
Yeah,
Kuma's isn't
but I'm saying like
very
third
good.
strike. I didn't
Oh.
want everyone to have one because I hate you all.
Like,
But
Bison's isn't even that good. Like, if he parries a jump in, like, you can just counter hit him for free. All he gets is that little fireball he can throw later.
yeah,
People just, like, panic and, like, oh my god, I got parried, I should not hit buttons. But really, he's still recovering through that whole time. And people should really start hitting buttons against me. So I stopped parrying jump ins.
but I'm kind of impartial. Like my big gripe with the game is I want more fun characters. Like I know they put Fong in there, and he's cool, but he's just not viable
He's
right
not
now.
fun. He's not fun to play.
Yeah,
he's a fun idea.
Right.
Like, I like his moveset. I just don't like what he can do with it.
Yeah.
Also, all his double hitting moves are really awkward to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause it feels like it should be negative, but it's really plus. And it's like, why are you +3 on your crouch medium kick?
Well, I do feel bad for Rob too because they basically just put Zangief in there as kind of like a teaser,
token,
if you will.
like he just kind of gets a free ride in.
Oh yeah, you liked when he could move in 4? Well, okay, sorry.
Guess
Oh, yeah.
what?
He's now crippled. He has no
Let's
leg
take away
movements.
his ability to deal with projectiles, which is something we have developed since World Warrior.
Yep.
Like that's what
I-
blows my mind about Street Fighter V.
Have you not paid attention to how Keith plays?
Yes, I
He's
have.
got V-skill and he's got his headbutt.
He's all
even
Buddha now.
projectiles.
It's like
Yeah, but that
The
doesn't
mountain
help
coming to
him move
Muhammad.
forward.
We'll get into
Green
it.
Gives
Hand
him
allowed
meter.
him to move forward.
he gains meter now.
Oh, that meter doesn't do anything if he's on the other side of the screen and can't do anything.
You can delirious.
Like, yes, Geef can get in, but it is significantly harder than it ever has been in the history of Street Fighter.
Geef has always had to play super patient until he gets in.
You could pressure, though, in 4. That's the immediate thing that I did not like when I started 5, is you just have to wait.
You have
like,
to,
do you think...
come to you.
You have to walk.
Do you think that if Geef had a green hand in 5, he'd be broken?
No.
The answer is...
It depends on how the green hand is.
If it wasn't like the original jab green hand...
Right.
Where he could cross like super fast and
competitive,
then...
The big downside now is green hand in 4 had the focus attack dash cancel properties, and the red focus
which was
cancel
punishable.
into... Yeah, but he could backdash.
It was punishable on backdash. It was not safe at all.
How negative?
Like -5.
And
On
this is the
backdash?
part...
Yes.
This is the part of Street Fighter...
Here at -5. That matters in
his
like 3
backdash did
situations.
not
If
go
we had a
very
listener,
far.
we just lost them.
This is the part of Street Fighter that... This is why I hate playing games with you guys. Because it's like, oh, okay, that move is faster than mine. Well, actually, it's a -4.2 frame. It's like, dude, don't care.
I'm just saying, if we're going to put out information, let's make sure we put out the correct
Oh, yes, because
information.
everybody loves looking at a game and evolving it into math. That's the ultimate
Well, what I
goal
do
for all
when I
games.
buy a new Street Fighter game, I get a new Texas Instruments calculator to go with it. So I can keep, what the hell, man?
I gotta plot my moves.
You suck the fun out of games.
And that's the main reason I hated Geef in this one. He wasn't fun to play anymore.
Yeah, I can totally get it. Like,
oh yeah,
he is a walk down monster. Like, he will walk down anybody, but you have to walk.
Yeah.
Right.
His walk is slow.
Yeah,
like I get that. It's like he's a completely different character.
And meanwhile, Ken and Chun-Li can cross the screen and like
God, I hate Chun-Li.
like Nightcrawler speed.
Her buttons are too good. I'm sorry, I hate her.
Well, they're worse now.
Yeah, they need to be even more worser.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Like, I saw the change to making her crouching leg kick cancel. I thought I was gonna let her go into like the spinning bird kick, but it's only into legs, which is really awkward.
It's still good though. I mean,
it's still good. Oh, it's still great.
Yeah.
It's still a great change. It's just like I was expecting to get knockdowns from those spending meters. You don't. So
thank God.
So we're talking a lot about Street Fighter V, but I don't even see that as being the game you guys play the most when you're doing casual nights. What's some of the best console games out there that are coming up and people playing and being competitive? And
I mean, if we're talking about God's Gift, that is Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator.
Oh yeah, the one that's named after a turd. That's right.
Yeah, that one.
That's a good one.
I mean,
that's a pretty game. I've never played it, but I've seen
that
you
is
guys
probably
play it.
my favorite part about that game. Is it is incredible how pretty that game looks. I still cannot believe that those are 3D models and not sprites.
Yeah,
it blows my mind.
That technique is really cool because it looks like a 2D based one, but it's like so detailed and textured that it's really pretty to look at it. This might just be me, but it reminds me a lot of King of Fighters that came out.
The King of Fighters 13?
Yeah, it just was beautiful.
Oh, that game was gorgeous.
Just was so nice to look at.
Yeah. Exactly.
And again, I didn't really ever play that one.
And at the time, like, if you look at King of Fighters 13, I would say the only contender at the time as far as visuals would have been Marvel. Because Street Fighter 4, I love that game. That game was ugly. That game was super ugly. It was very ugly. It's ugly, ugly, ugly. Marvel, the character models looked really cool, in my opinion. Like, Wolverine looked awesome. Chun-Li didn't look like a man.
Is that a shot at NRS?
No, Chun-Li looks like a man in Street Fighter 4.
I think it's a shot at gender fluidity, but we're not like, we're not like a current affairs.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We're not a current affairs political podcast. We're talking about video games.
Alrighty. But no, I was actually talking about the Stern Street Fighter 2 pinball. So
if we want to talk about that, she looks like a chow dog.
That freaking pin, that pinball machine for real will come up on every episode. Because so far,
it's our bad pinning.
So far, we're at 100%.
that art, I don't know how it got past any
art.
Kind of
You're
quality
funny,
control.
dude. That art.
So anyway, going back, so that's probably the first thing anybody notices about Guilty Gear is that it is an incredibly pretty game, especially when you stack it up to what else is out there. Like, you have Mortal Kombat, which, don't get me wrong, Adam, before you get defensive, I know that's your baby, but looks very gritty, and a lot of people don't like the gore, and it just looks... The models look fine. Like, honestly, it's an alright game until you get a really close-up on the faces, and then it starts to...
Which is why, like, 85% of them wear masks.
Yeah.
And that's why I play video games. I mean, if I get a good close-up look at the faces and they're not just right, I'm like, I'm not playing this thing anymore.
Well, The new Mortal Kombat games are a lot of fun, but that's as far as they go. They're not. I mean, they're competitive. Don't get me wrong, but they're nowhere near the visual quality of Guilty Gear or even Street Fighter V or Marvel.
So one thing I am confused about, just as a voyeur of Guilty Gear Xturd, is what is the closest approximation of the gameplay mechanics? Like, what can you relate playing Guilty Gear to playing BlazBlue, or what's it like?
I would say it's closer to Blaze. So BlazBlue was created because ArcSys kind of couldn't create a new Guilty Gear at the time. Like after they made Accent Core Plus, for whatever reason,
they're like 100% on names, aren't they?
Oh
yeah.
god,
dude, it's stupid.
It's like they just throw up, put words on a dartboard.
They're like the anti-Final Fantasy. It's like, nah, we're not going to call this one 15. We're going to call it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
VVX Extreme.
Isn't there one like Accent Core Plus Reloaded or something stupid like
There's
that?
Sharp Reload.
Plus R, sorry.
But there's
My
Accent
fault.
Core Plus R.
Oh,
like
God.
anyway.
Feels like Wachowski's
We need them to
sibling
help us
names.
name our next video game thing.
so
Super Game Tournament Accent. Oh, I forgot we do have that one. Never mind.
so
That's coming soon.
BlazBlue was designed because after Accent Core Plus R, I think there was a character ownership issue. Like they were tied up in litigation and licensing and whatnot, and so they couldn't really create a new Guilty Gear game with the characters. They did make a Guilty Gear 2, but the only returning characters are Soul and Kai, and any references to like the older characters are like Dizzy. They don't call her Dizzy; they call her like the Guardian or something. So because of that, they're like, well, we want to make a new Guilty Gear, but we can't do anything. So that's how BlazBlue came about. And if you look at the two main characters of Guilty Gear,
Breathe.
Pause for breath.
if you look at the two main characters of BlazBlue, Ragnar the Blood Edge. I did. I apologize. You have Ragnar the Blood Edge and Jin Kisaragi.
Naturally, yeah. Everybody knows household names.
But if you look at them and you compare them to the main characters of Guilty Gear, which are Soul Bad Guy and Kai Kisk,
Good names.
they look
Most
the exact
actually,
same.
most popular boy's name in 2015.
Soul Bad Guy.
Yeah.
Kessel.
Soul Bad Guy.
That's my new dog's name. Soul Bad Guy.
Anyway, so BlazBlue was essentially a reimagining of the Gear license. I'm sure Ron is going to correct me on all of this because I do not have this 100%.
Ron will be on
right.
episode 4.
BlazBlue historian, Ron.
But that was the reason BlazBlue was created. So there are a lot of similarities, but it's definitely not one for one. Like, BlazBlue simplified the inputs. It's definitely a much easier game than Guilty Gear. Although as the BlazBlue eventually developed into its own brand, especially since Guilty Gear came back. So the ArcSys needed a way to differentiate the two. And Guilty Gear the new Guilty Gear plays like the originals, whereas BlazBlue, instead of feeling like Guilty Gear Light, has developed into more of a standard anime fighter where it emphasizes on long combos and ridiculous damage and just all around ridiculousness, whereas Guilty Gear has just always been Guilty Gear.
I also kind of see again, from a layman's perspective, like fighting games are almost like where the action takes place in different rows.
Mm-hmm.
So like you got Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, which is a ground-based
Sure.
fighting game, and then you have like BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, which looks like they have an air portion to it, like where there's a lot of air combo stuff you can do. And then you got Marvel vs. Capcom, which is like stratosphere type fighting, and all that kind of stuff.
Games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, and even Marvel 3 to an extent, their main emphasis, because of how free it is movement. Movement is the big thing in those games. Whereas in Street Fighter, your movement's incredibly limited. Like, you have a slow jump arc, unless you have a dive kick, which in Street Fighter 5 those were toned down quite a bit from previous Street Fighter games to where they're not as good. But because Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter is more ground-based game, movement's there. Like, you have to be good at, your spacing and your movement, but it is nowhere near the level of Marvel 3 or Guilty Gear or BlazBlue, because not only do you have to worry about, like, your combos and your hit confirms and all that, you have to worry about where you are, because some things it's like, well, how do I deal with it? If I block it, you're plus. and then you just get to keep pressuring me and put me into it again. It's like, well, you just got to move out of the way. So you have to be constantly moving, constantly paying attention to what your opponent's doing, and that's why they give you that freedom. Mm-hmm. It's another defensive option added to the mix, as opposed to just blocking and then, okay, their turn's over, now it's my turn again. There's this concept in fighting game of stealing turns that even though you are not at advantage anymore, you still steal your turn to continue pressuring your opponent. In Guilty Gear, that's a lot more common because of how fast-paced the game is and how on point you have to be to punish your opponent's mistakes. And that's where movement comes into play. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this string. This is technically where my string ends, but because you just sat there, I'm going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this.
I see that a lot. I see like pressure, pressure, pressure. It might be a block string, and then it's like break opportunity for the other person to pressure, 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 even though it might be a block string. Kind of like a seesaw back and forth.
Yeah, that is essentially, it's like a...
Until someone makes a mistake, tries to do it too soon, too early, and then you pay for like half your life.
A lot of people compare that sort of scenario to like a game of chess, where it's like, okay, you move, I move, you move, I move. But in fighting games, you also have that, okay, I moved, but screw you, I'm going to move again. It's that sort of...
There should be battle chess, where if like you can make a move and then punch the other person in the face quick enough, you get another move. Like you put them in stun for their move.
There you go. There you go.
Something like that.
Give a good old...
Be much better in the Battle Chess 2000 than they used to play. That version of it. So Adam's butt is singing.
Totally manly ringtone. Sorry, guys.
So going back to
hear that song again.
So going back to what we do here, Flippin' Great Pinball has Flippin' Great Casuals every 2 weeks. Tallahassee Fighting Game Community. How did the Tallahassee Fighting Game Community start, and what's your purpose? Like, why do you exist?
Well, the Tallahassee Fighting Game Community started well before Mike and I ever became a part of it.
So you guys stole it, is what you're saying.
Effectively, I think it's more not abandoned, but
Grand Theft Auto community.
We just kind of we picked it up over when like Andy and Logan stopped hosting at their house because Andy had left, and then it was Logan and Ron living in that house, and I don't think they really did casuals over there anymore.
No, not really, because Ron was of the if I don't feel like hosting casuals, I won't. Which I get it. It's your house.
Yeah,
do it up. But no, so Mike and I joined around when Super Street Fighter 4 came out in 2010, and we had day tripped to a tournament in Atlanta. Day trip to a tournament out there.
Don't do that, guys.
Oh no, especially when your co-pilot that's supposed to drive home starts falling asleep.
Even with copious amounts of energy drinks in them.
You still didn't get to sleep, even though I had
sleep or coma.
Anyway.
I mean, being able to fall asleep and being able to drive are two different things. Like,
yeah, I don't think anyone would argue that. But yeah.
No, what I mean is like when I was trying to drive, my eyes wouldn't focus. Like I just could not keep focus on the road. Like I cannot drive like this at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, or we will die. And it's not my car. So I don't want to ruin Drew's car. So
I'm glad that was the concern. It's not my car, so I can't crash this and kill us all.
Yeah.
If it was my car, absolutely.
Well, I mean, there were both things I had considered. One, death. One, property damage. I didn't want either of those to be my fault. Primarily death, but the property damage was also a strong concern.
Give me property damage or give me
death.
death.
But no, give me death before giving me property damage.
Right.
At least that way I don't have to deal with the consequences.
As the famous Nathan Hale stated.
So, anyway, that weekend I had worked at Florida State University. I was in charge of their game committee. That same weekend, we were running a fighting game tournament at FSU, to which I was incredibly tired. We had pulled back into town in Atlanta at like 6 in the morning. I had to be at work at 11. So I went to work and I fell asleep. Woke up and I'm starting setting up for this tournament. I'm exhausted, and that's when I met Andy and Cara for the first time. I think Andy won that tournament. Cara got third. I was incredibly tired. But so that's where I got my... We didn't know that a fighting game community existed at the time. We had just, hey, there are other people in town who play fighting games. Actually, I take that back, because I had known about the fighting game community well before that. So when I first moved into Tallahassee, I was really big into Street Fighter 3. Like, me and my friends in high school played that all the time. And so there used to be a LAN center or something up at the Tallahassee Mall called Imagination Studios. It was right next to Terry Angels. And I had run a couple Street Fighter 3 tournaments out of there. Street Fighter 3 and CVS 2. Mm-hmm. And Logan had come up to one of them and just destroyed me. And
as Logan is prone to do to many people.
Oh, sure. Like, he picked Q.
I got him that one time, and he got mad.
We got it, and I almost made him throw a fight stick.
You should put this podcast over that footage.
Yep. I don't have it recorded, but he knows it's real.
Oh, there's witnesses, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I don't care if it was 4 o'clock in the morning and he's tired.
Hey,
that's
what you got to do to a good player. You got to wear him down over time.
Yeah.
You got to have stamina to play these games.
So I was talking with Logan. He's like, yeah, a bunch of us get up and we play, fighting games. I'm like, oh, man, I'd like to do that. I'm like, well, you mind if I get your phone number and meet up with you guys? And
that was the beginning of a beautiful
No, because the asshole gave me the wrong phone number.
555 you?
Nice.
For a fighting game hookup?
Nice.
No. He has admitted that he was not trying to blow me off.
Oh, okay. Well,
whoa. Phrasing, buddy.
That progressed quickly.
Phrasing, bro.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's
obviously he wasn't. He gave you the wrong number.
So, because of that, I ended up having to play Smash Brothers for 3 years. Because
of the deep, emotional distress that Logan caused
you.
you.
Like a mating ritual? Like, you got to do, like...
No, I wanted to play a competitive fighting game. So I went and played Smash instead.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we met,
Because that wasn't a competitive fighting game.
Well, it wasn't. It's a terrible game.
All right, it's not.
We got Smash Night here, too. We'll have them on next week.
Brawl's not great. I'm not a fan
It's
of
a great video game. It's a terrible competitive game.
Yes, Brawl is. Melee is very competitive. I like Melee.
Yeah.
I can't stop playing.
Where
these
are we on
tiny
disagreement
games.
here? I'm like...
I thought you were saying Smash Brothers as like a whole.
No. You know I like Melee. I play Melee.
It's pretty fun.
It is.
Why'd you kill yourself when we were playing the other day? That's so stupid.
Because I wanted to be tight.
Because it's Smash Brothers?
It was
way too easy to kill yourself?
No, he got greedy.
I did get greedy.
He got
absolutely
super greedy.
I was Marth, right? Yeah, I was Marth.
Yeah,
I was Marth. Yeah, I got super greedy.
You whiffed and spiked it. Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
On his last
That's how
life.
you kill yourself with Marth.
I was never good with spiking with Marth. Anyway.
Sorry.
Anyway, so after that tournament, I posted on the back when Shoryuken had a forum and people posted in that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's how I met all you idiots.
Yeah.
Now it's just YouTube links.
Yeah.
But so I posted on there and be like, hey, my friend Mike and I are going to be up at the Student Life Center playing some Street Fighter 4 if anybody wants to come out. We'd love to meet you guys. And that's where we met Chris Austin and Kara again. And we found out about Tuesday Night Casuals, which has kind of become a tradition in Tallahassee. Or it has been a tradition far before I ever joined, where everybody would go over to Andy's house and... it'd just be a giant casual sessions, 3 or 4 TVs with a bunch of different setups, and everybody would go over and play till like 2, 3 in the morning, and that's after Mike and I had joined that. Like we consistently go out there on Tuesdays and play as much as we could, and I would always go play with Chris Austin way back in the day to no avail because that guy was a machine at Street Fighter 4.
It's freaking annoying.
But
he was like a who's the guy from Kill Bill, like the beard flip guy.
Oh,
it's like
Talpai.
First you must pass me throwing nothing but fireballs. When you pass that test, we will conduct the next test.
Except when Chris would try to teach you something, he'd tell you how to do something,
right?
But then immediately punish you for doing that.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's how you know the lesson changed.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like he's also trying to teach you proper application of that thing.
Chris is ridiculously good at that game.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy to learn from in that game, especially when you're. Hang on. When you're new to the game, he's not the guy to learn from.
If you are not willing to actually put in the work, he's not the best. I'll give you that much. If you are willing to put in work and you understand that you are under a tutelage, then yes, it's great.
So I remember learning from him, like the whole I forget what it was like. It wasn't. Damn, I can't remember. It was something with Rufus, And he's like, all right, this is what you got to do, right? So I'm like, okay, well, let me practice it. Thinking that, like, he'd put himself in a bad situation to let me try it. Didn't happen. For, like, the next 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're not going to practice that thing that you just told me to do. I got it. We're just going to go back to, like, today didn't happen. Like, maybe, I don't know, help me.
Yeah. Help me help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
So
Love you, Chris. He's not going to listen to it.
So I think eventually you started having it at your place.
Yeah,
right?
so Andy eventually moved away. I think he moved over to the West Coast. And Ron moved into Andy's house where Logan was still staying. And no one, they didn't... They didn't want to commit to hosting consistent casuals because, hey, some days you just don't want to host casuals. I get that. So I eventually moved out on my own, into my own place. And the second I did that, I was like, hey, I'm going to start hosting up casuals at my place. Everybody come through. And I also hosted, for a while, I hosted tournaments in town. I had the Capital Punishment Fighting Game Tournament series that, as time went on, we started losing players in town to justify out-of-town players to come here and can really no longer sustain a tournament in this town. Our scene is too small. But
so part of this now that you're doing is, I mean, obviously you want new people to play against, but you also want to help grow that scene.
Oh, absolutely.
Get new people interested in these different fighting games and compete against other people, because it's totally different if you're playing Xbox Live or
absolutely
this versus playing a person sitting next to you.
I fully support local play. Like, I feel like that is 10 times more efficient than any sort of online play, simply because you can sit down with a person, have a long 3-hour, 4-hour session, and then you can sit there and you can talk about it. It's more than just I won or you won, because at the end of the day, like, when I sit down for casuals, my goal isn't necessarily to win. I mean, obviously it is. It's the point of the game. But I sit down to try out new things that I've been working on and implementing in my game, like new specific setups or just new counters to things that I've been having trouble with. And I will sit there and I will attempt to do this and get it wrong 500 times and lose like 50 games until I get it right. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this is how this works. Finally, I got this. And then I will continue to do that. And that's, when you go online, it's really hard to do that, because when you go against a random and you lose like 5 times, they're like, oh man, this guy's trash, I'm out. Whereas in a casual session, you can sit there and I can sit there and try, and I'll lose 50 games if I have to until I get that specific thing that I'm working on down. And that's what I really like about in-person play, is you can sit there, you can talk and be like, okay, well, this is what I'm trying to do, this is what you're trying to do, what kind of things can we do to... Because I've always believed in the sense that having competition, especially local competition, is really what helps you grow, because you have player A and player B. Player A consistently beats player B and then stagnates. So player B has to step up and then starts countering everything player A is doing. Now player A has to, again, start countering what player B is doing. And then it's kind of like a machine where players pull down a lever and then they go up. And then the other person pulls down a lever and then they go up. Really, I'm just equating this to something in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that I was
going to say, that sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog mechanism.
Yeah, it is. It is. It totally is.
And it always annoyed the hell out of me because it slowed the entire game. This whole game's about speed, but no, hold on, we're at the Sonic Gym, and now we're going to work up on like the, whatever that is, the seesaw puller climber, stair climber for like 13 seconds.
But essentially that's how it works. And that's what I like about local play and having new players. And the other thing is, the more players that you have in the scene, especially in a specific game, is one of the most important things to fighting games is matchups. And having a larger scene does not necessarily mean you're going to have every matchup, but you have a higher chance of a wide variety of matchups. Because right now in Guilty Gear we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different characters covered over like 8 people. Mm-hmm. Like, we have 2 people that play similar characters. So
I've noticed that in Street Fighter V, because that one guy that came in and played Vega, and like I don't think anybody played Vega in 5 until that guy showed up, and he was like pretty constantly destroying everybody because everybody was unfamiliar with the character for a while. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
You're
don't
not
have
going to admit that
experience-
somebody was destroying them. Come on.
He was struggling.
I mean, I didn't play him, but
See?
So now we've taken the proud tradition of.
I've actually beaten that guy in tournament. So I have. He was there.
Which guy?
The Vega player.
Oh.
The last Street Fighter V tournament we went to, I beat him. At Maple
That's the
Street.
sound of not confirmation coming from the witness. That's the sound of
I
confirmation.
forgot that we've had Street Fighter V tournaments here.
Yeah.
We had like 2.
Yeah, so we've taken that proud Tuesday night casual reputation and tradition, shot it in the head, and now we're having it
On Thursday.
every other Thursday night at Flippin Great.
Well,
Pinball.
I mean, I was always hosting on Tuesday until I realized
You hated everybody.
no. Well, people probably don't want to go to some random dude's house who they've never met, and I don't want some random dude coming over to my house that I've never met. So,
Oh, I bit my tongue so hard there. Sorry. You got to be careful what you're phrasing, dude. You can't say that kind of stuff and just...
I mean, it's gonna.
We're friends.
The podcast keywords are gonna hit on what you just said and casuals.
Right.
And probably we said connections somewhere in there. And you're going to get ranked
Hashtag
in a lot
Grindr.
of places you don't want to be ranked in search engines. So now we've got them every other Thursday at Flippin' Great from 6 to 10. Bring your setups. We as a venue charge $5, but it also gives access to all the fighting game arcades. If you guys were talking to the person who's undecided, who like enjoys playing fighting games, but isn't much of a social person, hasn't really involved themselves in the scene, what would you tell them? Like, why would you tell them to come out?
Especially someone who isn't social, it's hard to tell somebody, hey, get over it, come out.
I don't mean like antisocial, just hasn't done the in-person scene yet.
I mean, come on out, because like a lot of people don't come out because they are afraid of losing.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number one thing that prevents people from coming out to these sessions. They are afraid of getting jacked up by people who are better than them. Are you kidding me? I can't say jacked up.
Again, lots of...
I didn't even giggle. It wasn't me.
I saw you furrow your brow.
Who giggled, Drew? Who giggled? Because it wasn't me.
I did.
It was
So
mine.
that anger needs to go whoop, 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 over there. Yeah.
Is that the sound of anger
I can't
makes when
bite my
it
lip?
transmits?
Oh, I can't bite my lip?
No, you can't.
Jesus.
Anyway, so newer players aren't going to want to come out to a place where better players are and they get beat. It's kind of that old arcade mentality of where you don't want to get on the sticks because, well, it's a quarter a pop, and you're gonna. And this guy has been
Owning this game.
owning this game. I was about to say running the train, and that's
Yeah.
See,
Although you still said it, so...
I am making you a better person, and you just killed Mike.
Mike is now laying in a fetal position on the floor.
His lightsaber just fell off.
So I mean, I think the main thing to stress is this is not like a, hey, we want new people to come out because we're going to run them into the ground and run a train on them. And it's about...
Take their pants off. No, not that.
It's about making them better, making themselves better.
It's about helping them. Well, the thing is they have to want to get better at the game at the same time. They're going to have to want to put in the work and.
Yeah, there's no magic switch on it.
I mean, I can add, like, when I first moved up here years ago, I really liked Street Fighter 4, but I never really had anybody to play it against outside of, online. And online was fun when you didn't know any better. But when I came here, that's when I first realized that fighting games are more than just like, all right, we're just going to randomly jump at each other and hit buttons and see what happens. There's way more to it.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
That's
No.
why you hate Geef.
Now I will
Explain that. That's why I'm so bad at this.
Now I will say that when you're new, to build off of what Drew was saying, it's going to be frustrating when you play people that are really good at games. I learned this, but if you stick it out, it's a completely new experience. Like Street Fighter 4 kind of opened my eyes on how to play Street Fighter, and the game is so much more fun now than it ever has been, even for Street Fighter 2, and I don't even like to pretend Street Fighter 3 doesn't exist because it's garbage. But Street Fighter 4 was a lot of fun. Street Fighter 5 was a lot of fun. So if you're kind of curious on what advanced play looks like, or you like the characters or whatever it is, you guys should come on out and check it out.
Or at the very least, we're going to be starting streaming sometime soon in the future.
Drew donated a bunch of stream gear. Thank you, sir.
Oh, not a problem.
So in addition to pinball streams, which we've done a couple of so far, we're going to start doing fighting game streams. They're a little bit more work, but once we get them set up, you can kind of watch and talk to the players as they're playing, as long as they're not fighting with each other, which you're going to learn quick tends to happen.
I mean, I would
Not
consider
as
that
much
part
as
of the
it
appeal,
used to.
honestly.
It is. It's all in good fun for the most part until someone loses like 30 games in a row. Then there's a little heat.
And we don't mean real fighting. We mean like uncomfortable stares.
Yeah.
And,
Passive aggressiveness.
It's super
badly
passive
phrased
aggressive.
quips. In case you hadn't heard that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's,
One thing I want to really emphasize is that if you want to learn, don't be afraid to ask us any questions.
Oh yeah.
We will help you. We have enough collective knowledge. We should be able to answer any question you have. That's the one thing is like some players will be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go play some fighting games. Get destroyed and just don't ask anything. They don't try to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do want to play with us, we will help you. We will help give you the tools you need to have more fun with the game.
Yeah, big time.
Approach it from a new perspective.
When Marvel 3 came out, I had screwed around with Marvel 2, never really, got into it, but when Marvel 3 came out, it was completely brand new, and I knew nothing about it, and just playing with you guys, I was like, okay, cool, this is how this kind of stuff works, and, you learn the mechanics and the bouncing off the ground, all the crazy cool stuff, so there's definitely a lot to be learned by everybody.
Yep.
So it's fun.
I will say one of the things for new players or even non-fighting game players who might be listening to this podcast but have been interested in fighting games but always slightly intimidated. These new fighting games, Street Fighter V, Guilty Gear, Exerd, Revelator, Blaze Blue, Central Fiction, King of Fighters 14, all these new games actually have really good in-depth tutorials to them now that kind of explain all the hidden nuances to fighting games that have been there for years.
How much does Capcom charge for theirs?
0.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to check.
But you don't get the players to play those
Right.
tutorials with
I'm sorry.
unless you pay for them.
But, I mean, I will say, out of the ones that I have played, Street Fighter V is probably not the best in terms of tutorials. But looking at Guilty Gear is a game with a lot. It keeps throwing me off.
It has a lot of very specific things that you need to specifically be able to do against specific characters. Not any two matchups can be approached the same way.
Well, you're getting a little ahead of yourself here.
He has a small hand on his finger. It's his.
Dude, these are like I love these things, man.
Sorry, we have a set of itty bitty tiny hands that fit on your finger. Kind of like Deadpool baby hand stuff. So everybody's entertaining themselves with the itty bitty hands.
And the game also overall has a lot of specific mechanics that do like one or two things. And the tutorial covers all of those, almost all of those things. Like even like just like if you want to fight this guy, here's some of the things that this character can do. See if you can find a way around it. It'll just have that character do that thing over and over again.
That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
I really got to give points to Arxis on that one because they understand, hey, our game's kind of complex. Maybe it would help if we tell people how this works.
You just go old school where you don't tell them anything and you just publish it in a magazine over a series of 6 issues, per character.
Who
I'll
does
let-
Game
that?
did that.
I'll any of that. Well, you guys are young.
Yeah.
I mean, when Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2
Yeah.
came out, there wasn't any.
That was the charm of
You
Mortal
had to buy
Kombat.
the Game Pros or
The
that
Nintendo
stuff.
Powers.
You had to scratch every. So
There
like I
were no
literally
command
had,
lists.
I literally had a handwritten note that I'd fold up and put in my wallet.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I went to the arcade, I would unroll it and like stick it
Yeah.
on the screen, and it would be all the move lists for
Yep.
the characters I want to play. There was no other way of knowing it, and to get that, there wasn't the internet.
I remember.
You had to like see it in a magazine, or they even had like call-in numbers where you would like pay
Like
money to
$2.
call in and talk to somebody.
It was like
to get
$2.99 a
move
minute,
list.
right?
Yeah.
I
Nintendo
remember
did that
the
all
little local arcade we had down in Newport Richey. There was this guy that would play Mortal Kombat 2, and every time he'd win, he'd like cover the sticks and do the fatality inputs. He didn't want anyone to know, and he knew like every fatality, and it was just he had a crowd of people, and it was like the coolest thing ever.
So I think we're getting ready to wrap up. Thanks, guys, for coming and talking about the Flippin' Great Casuals. And I think to sum it up, if you want to get better, this is how you get better.
Yes,
So,
please come out. Like we're not bad people. We're not evil people.
no matter what you've heard.
We don't bite. Just
No matter what you've heard.
come on out. Like casuals like that. That's one thing a lot of people forget, especially once you start getting into the competitive scene. These games are supposed to be about fun. Like, that's the number one thing.
This is why no one plays Zangief.
So
Yeah, one guy did.
So just come
Even
out.
Snake Eyes doesn't play
If you
Zangief
love
anymore.
fighting games and you want to get better at them, just come out and play and have fun and meet other people that do the same thing. So please come out Thursdays, 6 to 10.
You want anything, Mike? Outside of baby hands?
Buy baby hands for one.
Yeah.
Just buy yourself at least a pair.
And then giddily clap with them.
But we, like Drew said, we don't bite. Some of us might still be a little ruthless on the sticks, but
That is a bad habit of Tallahassee.
I don't think that's exclusive to Tallahassee. That's just
It's
how
just,
a lot
yeah.
of players are. So don't be
Sharks.
afraid to like ask questions. Just don't ask all the questions, every single one of them that comes to your mind. No, there is no stupid question.
All right,
Unless it's super vague. Don't just ask how do I block.
Also, follow us on Facebook at the Tallahassee Fighting Game Community. That is our Facebook group. You can also follow me on Twitter at #@TotallyDrew.
Hashtag @TotallyTrue?
Well, wait,
How do you
F
get a
that.
You
hashtag
mean-
on Twitter?
You mean at?
Yes. I do.
Okay, all right.
Nope, it's definitely hashtag at.
He's a trender.
Wow.
He's
at
got
tag.
a whole trending going on.
I'm actually never on Twitter, so don't follow me on Twitter.
All right, so final question, because we have with the casual nights come the ability to play some of our fighting game arcades, and we have Mortal Kombat 3, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and of course the much talked about Street Fighter 5. What is your personal favorite fighting arcade?
Like arcade game? Like that came on
Like
Cab?
it wasn't an arcade form.
Before I really got strictly into fighting games and like had a chance to like meet people and actually talk about these kind of games, I always loved Marvel 2. It had like all these cool characters. I was young and naive and just like I like to do the 2 crushing leg kicks of Spider-Man into Stan Roundhouse so that he would like pop him up and do a cool little combo, and then it had Mega Man. I like Mega Man.
Are you trying to say I'm naive because I stuck with Ghost Rider in Marvel 3?
No, I'm saying I was naive because I was like
Jeez, defensive much?
I was clearly. I said
like,
it with
what,
a smile. I was
12
joking.
when that came out.
They don't know that.
In the arcades. I was really young, so like I just didn't know better, and I didn't know anyone that played it. Just, It was cool to just do all these little things.
Oh yeah.
Like play all these cool, like all these Marvel characters from all the comics and TV shows I watched when I was a kid, and all these actual games I played when I was a kid all coming together to duke it out. And I thought it was really neat. So Marvel 2 would probably be my favorite arcade game, even though I didn't really get competitive in it.
So, growing up, we had a couple arcades down in Daytona, which I miss because I used to go to them all the time. I think actually one is still there, but the one that I remember going to the most was definitely Marvel 2 for sure. Because I mean, as a kid, you see all these Capcom characters you grow up with, like Mega Man and who else is in that game? That's not a fighting. Or well, I mean, the Street Fighter characters too, like Ryu.
Yeah. There's a bunch of Capcom ones in there, I think.
Jill Valentine
Along
from
with
Resident Evil. Yeah.
And Strider.
But and also as someone who watched the '90s Marvel X-Men cartoon, that's why I gravitated towards that, and I would play Street Fighter 2 with my brother in the arcades. So probably Marvel vs. Capcom and Capcom vs. SNK. My brother and I played that a lot. And there was a Guilty Gear X machine when I was a little bit older.
You snobbed it, didn't you? You didn't care for it.
No, I didn't understand the game.
Yeah.
I did not understand it at all. But those were probably the 3 arcade machines I played the most growing up.
If you could go back in time to your younger self and slap him for not playing more Guilty Gear X, would you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And before Ron tells you that Guilty Gear X is one of the worst ones.
Whatever.
What's you, Adam?
Mine was probably Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I love that game. Like there was something to me like about the appeal of all the hidden things and all the stuff that you could find and all the rumors about these things that never really existed, and it was always just fun to play those games. For their time they looked so much, I'm going to say it, better than Street Fighter 2 did with the whole motion capture stuff and all that, and I don't know, man. I was just in love with it. Like, nowadays, clearly, it's not that great of a game. It doesn't hold up to Super Turbo and other games of its time. But I probably played Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 more than any other. That and Mortal Kombat 2, I'd say, are probably close as far as what got the most money out of me as a kid. But yeah,
What's your favorite would be?
Ultimate 3.
Ultimate 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to channel the McLaughlin group here. Wrong! Mortal Kombat 2! Bye-bye! No one's going to get that reference.
And we're done.
The Flippin' Great podcast would like to thank Arcade Age for the use of their recording equipment, bensound.com for their music tracks, and the Tallahassee Fighting Game Community for their time with us. Be sure to tune in for episode 4 sometime in the next decade.